Hello there guys and girls, this is the Prussian Prince with another Total War Attila tournament match. This is the New Era tournament, round of 4, or actually, as I prefer to call it, I guess, the semi-final. Best of 5 match between Orgetorix of Agartha and VOD's BxBaracus. So this is the first game. We have Orgetorix of Agartha playing as the Allens, and of course, we have BxBaracus playing as the Langobards. Now I'm going to put it in slow motion and go over the builds. So we have for the Allens, Lani General, Bronze 1. In terms of cavalry contingent, we have 3 Noble Lani Cav on the right. Actually, is it? No, we have just 4 Noble Lani Cav. We have an elite Sarmatian cataphract on each flank, and then supporting the general looks like there is an Alani horseman unit. Quite peculiar that elite Sarmatian cataphracts were actually brought and he didn't go full Noble Lani Cav, but very interesting choice indeed. And then we see very cool move here. Dramatic hurlers on the flanks, looks like 1 on each flank, and then center composed of 3 dramatic archers. Let's see the actual infantry contingent. Well, we have 2 Sarmatian Warband, Bronze 1 on the left, 2 Sarmatian Warband, Bronze 1 on the right. Make that 3, I guess. Well, 6 of those in total, or is it actually? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 7. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it's 6, my bad. I don't know where I got the 7th unit from. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, it's 6. I don't know why I thought 7 for some reason. I guess I'm really bad at counting. But yep, that is the build of the Allens. So let's go over the build of the Langobards. We have Germanic Noble Brace General. In terms of cavalry, well, we have Germanic Lancers supporting it. Then the rest of the cavalry contingent looks like a bunch of noble Germanic horsemen. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. Bronze 1, not a bad choice at all. Then we do have an okayish skirmish force, I guess. 3 Germanic bows, they're just really cheap. Kind of like throwaway units. If they get shot at, it's okay, I guess. They're just 100 cost. So I guess it's alright. Then we have on the left flank, looks like Langobard Clubmen, supported by Horsehewers. On the right flank, pretty much the same thing, I guess. And the main line, well, we have a bunch of Gaudensmen. 3, 4, 5 Gaudensmen. And again, the Germanic Nobles is Brace. So let's see how this one goes. Honestly, I would say that the Allens are favored in this matchup. They have the Noble Lani Cav. On top of that, they have... if you want, they have the elite Agathyrsi warriors, which are not actually brought in this fight, but we have a ton of Sarmatian Warband instead. Essentially, that's a lot of shock infantry available to the Allens. And Sarmatian Warband are not bad at all. They're actually quite decent. They're not the greatest shock cav, but they are still very decent units. So here it looks like Germanic archers actually going to be targeting these Horsehewers. And wow, look at the Horsehewers drop already for the Langobards there. That is a huge mistake for the Langobards. Just pushing up like that. I mean, I would love to see the cavalry go in first. I mean, it's going to take some damage, but you don't want to lose so many of your Horsehewers, honestly. Looks like cavalry is actually going to go in for a charge on these hurlers, but you know what happens when you charge into these units? You're going to have a counter charge. So now the Germanic Lancers are stuck, they're gonna get charged, and they're just gonna get destroyed. Though the Langobard Clubmen are into support, it does not mean too much, honestly, because these guys do not do so well in melee against cavalry. They actually do pretty terribly. It looks like the charge here is going to happen. Germanic Archer is gonna go down really quickly, and this elite Sarmatian cataphract lost a lot of men. So actually, this Germanic Lancer, I guess it's been very effective because it killed so many of that elite Sarmatian cataphract. Now the Horsehewers coming in, but I think this is a huge, this is actually a misplay by the Langobards on that flank because of the huge overextension. I don't think he can actually win this engagement here. Not with Noble Cav. Ooh, this is not looking great for the Langobards. And now there's going to be kind of a rear charge by these Alani horsemen. And Sarmatian warbands to follow up. So very, very huge overextension here by the Langobards. And I honestly don't know why. I mean, there's Sarmatian warband here to support, whereas the Langobards do not have any infantry. And here comes the Noble Cav through, going for the Godhansmen. But we'll see if this is actually going to be too effective here. Because yes, it's going to get a lot of kills on this Godhansman, but now it's going to get stuck in all these units as well. So we shall actually see, because once it pulls out, it's kind of like going to get engaged from all angles. And once that happens, it's just going to lose a lot of men pulling out. So that unit might actually just be dead from pulling out. We'll see if it does actually pull out. So this unit pulls out, loses a lot of men to the Godhansman here, is going to get targeted. Noble Germanic Horseman here against Noble Cav. Well, yeah, again, this engagement not going well for the Langobards. Sarmatian Warband crushing the Clubmen. Here, the engagement is not going terribly for the Langobards until the Sarmatian Warband and the Alani General come in, of course. Extra Sarmatian Warband coming in as well. Again, Alan's gonna have the infantry support before the Langobards, it seems. So, very, very well done here by the Alans. Ooh, this Alani General charge is huge. But now this unit has to pull back. Cannot stay in that fight, as you're going to see very quickly how it dies to Horse Hewers. Which, just look at it drop in numbers, but it sure got a lot of kills on that Godhansman. Here, this Noble Cav is actually routed off the field by the Langobards, but overall, the Alans just... These elite Sarmatian cataphracts are free. There's still extra Germanic archers on the field. And the Noble Germanic Horsemen here, looks like they're gonna... Yeah, these units are gonna go down. Once the Germanic Noble is dead for the Langobards, I think that's gonna be it. Elite Sarmatian cataphracts going around, and they're actually getting shot. These guys have to get a charge bonus onto the Noble Germanic Horsemen. So, looks like they do have an attack order, and I guess they have it on the infantry, not quite sure, but they just wrecked that Noble Germanic Horseman. The Alani General still lives. Germanic Noble does not live, though. Actually, he does live. He's not dead yet. So that is huge. But at this point, I wonder if that even matters. There's just so many units left on the field for the Alans. So yeah, I think that the game should be over by now, right? Especially once the Germanic Noble Gen dies. These Elite Sarmatian cataphracts... Actually, not quite sure what they're doing because they're not really charging or anything at this point. But yeah, still more engagements going on over here. Sarmatian warbands fighting it out.
Some of the men have gone berserk.
Okay, rear charge here into these Langobard clubmen should totally crush them, as it's a rear charge. This unit is going to go down rapidly. And looks like a lot of the units for the Alans are now disengaging. That is not a bad move at all. Noble Cav getting in here and getting a lot of kills. More Noble Cav charged in with the Alani General. This is a bit of a risky move, but at this point there's just so few of these units left on the field that I guess it's not really that risky, to be fair. So yeah, this is just a massacre at this point. The Godhansmen just running away. They are unhappy with the way the engagement went. These Germanic archers have done their job. They've done significant damage, as have the hurdlers, actually. So, very nice use of the skirmishers by the Alans this game. Definitely very, very good builds that both players brought as well. A bit peculiar with all these Elite Sarmatian cataphracts for the Alans, but they are definitely not bad. Like, you would expect 6 Noble Cav. Maybe the Noble Cav is limited. I wonder. I think it's not actually limited. I was just searching through the rules, and it does not seem like it's limited. But yeah, at this point, just fast forward to kill these last few remaining Godhansmen who have gone berserk, so they do not really want to rout. Just gonna fight until the end. This unit is still berserk here, but now it's off the field, and looks like Orgetorix of Agartha takes the first game against BxBaracus. with a nicely executed defense, I guess, after BxBaracus clearly overextended with his cavalry. Like, clearly, he went so far without infantry support, so he just got smacked by the Sarmatian warband, I guess. But yeah, that is game 1, so I should see you in game 2. This is the second game of the match, currently 1-0 for Orgetorix, but in this second game we actually have Orgetorix in command of the Saxons, and BxBaracus commanding the army of the Jutes. So I'm gonna go over the Jutes first. Let's see the composition. We have Nordic Warlord General with Brace, pretty standard stuff. Then we see a Herdman, interestingly enough, on each flank, not in the center. We of course have 6 Huskarls. This is pretty standard by now, whether they're just regular Huskarls or Royal Huskarls, just Huskarls at least. And then we see a bunch of Nordic Horse Lords, looks like 6 of them, with 6 Nordic band, or make that 5 Nordic band. So quite an interesting rush build here by the Jutes, I should say. These Nordic band can do a lot with their javelins against enemy Nordic Horse Lords, though they are not as good as, say, Nordic Hurlers or War Dogs for, like, in terms of versatility. I mean, the Nordic bands can still take charges, and with their limited javelin count, which is 1, they can still dish out some damage. So they're not entirely useless, though. Definitely, like, when you bring those, I mean, you know your opponent's going to be rushing if he brings Nordic band, generally at least. But anyway, time to go over the build of the Saxons here. Have the Bronze 1 Chieftain with Getricht with the Brace. This is pretty standard by now to bring the Chieftain as the Saxons. Then we have, let's see, 3 Nordic Horse Lords on the right, 3 Nordic Horse Lords on the left, the Heroic Cav in the center. So basically, that is the one advantage of the Saxons here. They have Heroic Cavalry, and that's something that the Jutes do not have. So this is not as bad as it normally is for the Saxons. Definitely winnable under these rules, because the Jutes they don't have Heroic Cavalry, and besides that, they don't really have much. I mean, other than Nordic Horse Lords, they don't have anything that's like quite as sturdy and strong as that cavalry unit, whereas Saxons have an even better unit than Nordic Horse Lords, the Heroic Cavalry. So something to definitely be kept in mind. But aside from that, 4 Nordic Hurlers up front, and in total looks like 3, 4, 5 Nordic Axe Warriors. So definitely cool Saxon build here. I actually really like it. I probably would have brought this exact variant myself, actually. Maybe with 1 or 2 changes. But I definitely like it. Still though, I do not approve of this move with the Heroic Cavalry. This is definitely a bad move. I mean, yes, you're gonna kill these Nordic bands, but... Ooh, just look at the Heroic Cav. Charge again. Getting jabs thrown at them though. Already 7 of the Heroic Cavalry died. Now an extra javelin throw here. Look at the Heroic Cav. Down to 50 men. And more Nordic men could throw the rest of their javelins. So, questionable where this is worth it with the Heroic Cavalry. And now this is definitely going into not worth it at all for the Heroic Cavalry. They're down to 46. These guys threw their jabs off, and now we're gonna see Heroic Cavalry. Okay, this is a good move against the Nordic bands over here. These guys are just gonna get destroyed in melee. Heroic Cavalry coming in again, getting jabs thrown at them. This is just very, very bad, of course, for this particular Heroic Cavalry. And now the Jutes coming in with Nordic Horse Lords. This is a bit, I don't know, I'm not sure about this, because the Saxons are sending in cavalry infantry support, but this charge with the Nordic Horse Lords is kind of weird because it doesn't go in properly. I guess he's gonna have to pull out though, since he engaged from this angle. He can definitely pull out it, I suppose, but definitely overextending a lot to the Jutes player, I think. Whether this is gonna cost him the game or not, we will see.
Our men have given up and are
But we
running
have
for
a
their
lot
lives.
of free cavalry on the field for the Saxons, and I mean he's got. Why is he not moving up his left flank? This is a huge mistake by the Saxons here. This flank here is totally being wasted. I mean, he's only using the units on his right flank. And yes, I mean, he's not doing too terribly here. In fact, he's getting a really nice engagement against that particular unit there. And as this Nordic Horse Lord pulls out, it is going to lose some men. But it's not significant because this Nordic Horse Lord is now going to die to the Axe Warriors. And it can't pull out. Very good move there. And now this Nordic Horse Lord could go for a rear charge here. If it does, it's going to be massive, but it does not. Because it's headhunt, so definitely they're going to go for the Huskarls instead. Not a bad move either. But again, what is the Saxon flank doing? It's not really supporting. Now it finally is, but I wonder if it's too late at this point. Looks like the engagement here not going to go well at all for the Saxons. Neither is this engagement, because Huskarls got in. Though they broke, nicely done here with the by the Axe Warriors though. It's like another engagement coming on here. Initially gonna go very well for the Saxons though, because the axes are in first. Herdmen can't really support cavalry fights as well as axes can though. These Nordic Horse Lords need to have Headhunt activated. If they don't, I guess maybe they didn't have it available, but now they're off the field. Both of these units actually. Now these Axe Warriors are gonna start wavering and they're routed off the field. The Huskarls just breaking through them with relative ease on that flank. Looks like these Nordic Horse Lords finally gonna come in, but I mean, it's just... Oh, the center is not looking good at all for the Jutes here. Huskarls getting charged. But again, the right flank looking very bad for the Saxons. And the left flank looking not so good for the Jutes, but... I mean, these cavalry units for the Saxons, I mean, the left flank was so slow. And the game is definitely not over yet, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to pull this one off. Oh, very nice charge, though, into the Huskarls here. Now they need to pull out and charge that unit, perhaps. They need to go for this general. So they cannot stay into the fight here, and ooh, I guess they're just going to stay and die there. Now, these Axe Warriors have one over here, it seems, against the Nordic Horse Lords, so I guess they're gonna go for the general because it has to die, but now these Axe Warriors are dying. Right flank completely collapsed for the Saxons. So that definitely, I think that is probably what lost it for the Saxons, just the left flank being too slow in coming in and on the Jutes flank. I definitely think that could have been handled much better by the Saxons, but it appears that it was not. I mean, just way too slow on pushing the left flank forward. That is what I'm fairly sure lost him the game here. So let's zoom in and watch these melee blobs. Not really blobs at this point though, but they're about to be. And look at these guys, these Huskarls charging into the fray.
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
Gonna charge in, and they're going to destroy this Nordic Warlord. Or is it the Warlord? No, it isn't the Warlord. Is it? No, it's some Horse Lords. It seems, but that is game, so it looks like it's going to be 1-1 between BxBaracus and Orgetorix. So, very interesting match so far. And I do also like this Jutes build as well. Very cool. Very nice builds by both players. Again, as they're both high-tier players. Wow, the Heroic Cavalry doing okay for itself. Nordic Horse Lords not too bad. Even the Axe Warriors, not horrible considering. And surprisingly, the Huskarls were not too impressive, but it seems like the Nordic Horse Lords did a lot of work, and the Herdmen here. But the thing is, I guess they were not really impressive because there were still a lot of them alive at the end, so they could have done more. But yeah, that is game. So I shall see you in game number 3. This is the third game, currently 1-1 between these two players. I have Orgetorix playing as the Huns, and his opponent, BxBaracus, playing as the Burgundians. Definitely an interesting matchup, this one. And I'm gonna hit slow motion and go over their respective builds. Burgundians, we have gold 3 Royal Burgundian General with the brace. Then we see how many Burgundian Axemen. Well, let's see. 2 on the right flank, bronze 3. 1 in the center, bronze 3. And 2 on the left flank. Looks like 1 bronze 3, 1 bronze 1. And then we see up front, looks like 4 Germanic archers and 3 Germanic pikes. So pretty stable build here by the Burgundians. Not super rush focused because we see all these Germanic archers and these Germanic pikes. So he didn't go full on rush. But in terms of cavalry, well, let's see. We have some Barbed Lancers, 3 on the left with the Royal Lancer. Then on the right, we have a Royal Lancer with the Barbed Lancer. So, yeah, quite a cool build here by the Burgundians. Very standard and stable. Now, for the Huns, let's see. Steppe Warlord General with brace. Then, in terms of the cavalry contingent, 3 Hunnic Lancers in the center. 2 Noble Steppe Cataphracts on the right. And 2 Noble Steppe Cataphracts on the left. Skirmish contingent, well, 4 Steppe Bows. Definitely no chance against 4 Germanic archers. And 3 warriors on each flank. So let's see. This battle is going to be about who, well, as it normally is, about who supports the cavalry first. And it's a lot of shock cav against shock cav, which is always interesting, but Royal Lancers should theoretically beat everything that the Huns have. I believe even the Noble Steppe Cataphracts, if I am right. I think even those fall to the Royal Lancers. Yeah, I think Royal Lancers best, the best cavalry, shock cavalry in the game. As you can see, definitely based on their stats as well. Ooh, these aren't even. Yeah, I was looking at the wrong unit. But as you can see, interestingly enough, the Royal Lancers have less melee defense, but much more armor and overall better stats. Not as much speed. So yeah, definitely interesting. Barbed Lancers having... I mean, Barbed Lancers, as you can see, they are not to be reckoned with... a force to be reckoned with as well. Definitely not bad either. But it looks like the skirmish engagement started. Germanic archers with precision shot. Looks like fire projectiles were active. And these Steppe Bows are falling rapidly, and Flaming Shot not a big deal on these guys because only 3 armor, so the damage still dealt very quickly. But I mean, the one thing is that Flaming Shot with Precision Shot is insane, which was used, but now it's no longer the case. And I do like that he's actually targeting a unit with 2 and then another unit with 2 others, because say for instance we had the Burgundians targeting, let's say, all 4 units targeting 1 unit like this one. That would be pretty bad, because then this unit over here would have to kind of move awkwardly to get into range of the Steppe Bow. So targeting like this makes it much easier for the units to stay in formation and fire properly. Definitely the way to go, I think. You don't want to target a single enemy unit, a single archer, because normally that is what screws you over. But yeah, let's see how the engagement goes. I'm just gonna fast forward. Looks like the Germanic archers are not doing too hot here, actually. I guess they went up too far. This is really bad for the Burgundians here, actually. So definitely the Huns taking a really good skirmish engagement here. And I mean, even if the Steppe Bows die here, I mean, the Germanic archers are just, there's so few of them left. And they've actually almost lost the Steppe Bows. They still have some ammo left, but definitely very good job here in terms of skirmish engagement. Very effective for the Huns, though their Steppe Bows are pretty much out of ammo now. So it looks like I don't know what the Steppe Bows here are doing though. I really don't understand. I guess they're just trying to take as many hits as possible from these Germanic archers. I mean, I'd imagine that's what they're doing, at least. So yeah, Noble Steppe Cataphracts over here. Looks like the Huns are going to go for an offensive maneuver, and at this point, I mean, they should be feeling pretty good, well, because they pretty much dealt with the Germanic archers very cost effectively. You can see these guys, oh, they're actually going to get a volley off onto this Noble Step Cataphract, so not being entirely wasted with the Germanic archers, that is. Step post here, almost getting into the Germanic pikes, and now they're step post flanking Germanic archers. I mean, that's like so hilarious. Yeah, Burgundian Axemen actually gonna pull back, which is nice. With the step bows, actually, they're pulling through the Germanic pikes, but these poor guys are gonna die. Looks like Barb Lancers charging in, but this means they don't have a charge bonus, and this Hunnic Lancer does. So that is not a bad engagement at all for the Huns. I mean, that's really cool. Not sure what this Hunnic Lancer is doing though. Nice step boost here, actually stopping the Burgundian Axemen from supporting really quickly. Though the Ors for the Huns are a bit behind, so they can't really support the cav engagement too quickly. Hunnic Lancer is actually kind of trying to go through here, but the pikes are definitely in position. And over here we don't see yet. I don't know why this Burgundian Axeman is not going in to support the cav fight over there. It is now doing that, but so late. Over here you can see the Hunnic Lancer died because the Burgundian Axeman came in to support. Step Warlord coming in for the Huns, and at this point, since this unit is engaged here, it's going to take massive damage. It's actually engaging the Royal Lancers. Looks like the Royal Lancers just crushed through a Noble Step Cataphract quite easily. So at this point, the engagement for the Huns is not looking great at all. Yes, the Noble Step Cataphracts went in, and I mean, early on they did very well. Not quite sure why the Barb Lancers are being sent over here. Because they're definitely out of position. They don't have anything to do over there. And the pikes here are definitely not doing much either. Looks like they're going to be repositioned. Nice charge here by the Royal Burgundian General into the rear of these wars as well. So at this point, I'd say that the Burgundians are definitely in command of this game. Not by a huge amount, I guess, but they're definitely in the lead. Not quite sure why this Burgundian Axeman is not actually engaged in the fight. That is huge. That is one of the things that might lose the Burgundians the game. Barb Lancers here charging into the Hunnic Lancers. You can see the Hunnic Lancers able to gain the victory here. And yeah, Noble Step Cataphracts against Royal Lancers. Well, we know who's going to win that. Very good engagement for the Royal Lancers. Though these pikes not quite in position to support. And as you can see here, right flank for the Burgundians starting to wear down. Is this Noble Step Cataphract gonna get in before the pikes get down? It almost did, but I guess the Huns did not want to take that risk. And as you can see here, Burgundians pushing through. The cavalry pulled out. Thing is though, they pulled out before the infantry got in. But this does mean that the Burgundian Axemen can get a clean charge off into the Ors at least. And now these guys should be able to mop up the Ors with some charges. War Warriors here also engaging the Burgundian Axemen, but it's 2 units of Burgundian Axemen, so the Ors are going to go down. Step Cataphracts charging in, but not from the best angle though. Royal Lancers still coming in here. Barb Lancer is going to get rid of this Hunnic Lancer. Still Royal Lancers over here though. This Hunnic Lancer going to die to 2 Barb Lancers as well. These Burgundian Axemen doing very well. No Step Cataphracts on the field. War Warriors losing a lot here. It still is looking quite crazy because these wars just doing absolutely a phenomenal job here in this melee blob. But now these Burgundian Axemen charging in, and the general of the Huns surprisingly still alive, and with that charge he's gonna do a lot of damage to the Burgundian Axemen here, but these wars are pretty much dead. So now the general of the Huns should start dropping anytime now, and he's going to die. And once that happens, I believe it's going to be a win for the Burgundians. Yes, the general is gone, so now these wars should start wavering and routing anytime now. Noble Step Cataphracts here wavering. War Warriors here starting to also waver. Rear charge into these wars as well by Burgundian Axemen, so definitely not a good situation for the Huns here. I mean, after losing that general, it was basically game over. What little hope they had of the game was out of the picture. Just look at these Ors just duking it out as long as they can, but now they're off the field, and it is a victory for the Burgundians. So it looks like BxBaracus came back 2 games in a row. So after being down 1-0, now he's up 2-1 in the series. And he is at match point, as this is a best of 5, so he only needs to win 1 more game. And yeah, I'm going to load up the next one. This is the 4th game of the match. Currently 2-1 for BxBaracus. But this time around, they have switched their factions. So we have Burgundians against the Huns again, but Orgetorix is in command of the Burgundians, and BxBaracus is in command of the Huns. So we'll see if BxBaracus can command the Huns to victory here. I'm going to go over his composition first as the Huns. He has goal 3 Steppe Warlord, Brace of course. Then we see up front 3 of these Steppe Bows, followed up by 3 Steppe Tribespeople, a bunch of Steppe Cataphracts, looks like 4 of them, 2 Elite Hunnic Lancers, bronze 1. Last but not least, another Elite Hunnic Lancer, bronze 1 over here, and 6 of these Ur Warriors. By now that is just extremely standard. But yeah, that is the build for the Huns. Time to go over the build of the Burgundians. Royal Burgundian General with Brace, of course. Then we see 2 Barb Lancers on the right, 2 Barb Lancers on the left, and no Royal Lancers? 0 Royal Lancers. I cannot believe this. Just 4 Barb Lancers in total and 0 Royal Lancers. But 2 Noble Germanic Horsemen. Okay, 5 Barb Lancers. Okay, how many Burgundian Axemen? Looks like 6 of these Burgundian Axemen. 2 of them being bronze 1. Make that 4 of them being bronze 1. Looks like all the ones on the left. And 1 on the right. Then we see 2 Germanic Pikes, and up front 4 Germanic Archers. Now these 3 Steppe Bows, as you can see, already in loose formation to soak up as many arrows as possible from these Germanic Archers. So definitely a cool composition here by both players, but I don't quite understand why we don't see more Royal Lancers. I really don't get it. But yeah, we'll see. As I'm going to fast forward this. Yeah, you can already see Steppe Bows being targeted here, so they're killing as many as the Germanic Archers as possible. Steppe Cataphracts in position to countercharge. Looks like they will, but they kind of waste their charge here. As you can see, it's really difficult for them to make it through. And they're kind of getting shot at as well. You can see they already lost 1 man in the unit. This unit is getting, wow, so much flaming onto it by the Huns here. Very well done here. Losing 2 men, losing even more men here. Being focused so nicely by the Steppe Bows. And these Steppe Bows are... They got a lot of kills on that, the Germanic Archers. They got a lot of kills on that Steppe Cataphract. That's cool, but... I wonder though. They're gonna have to target the cavalry, and as you can see, they're nowhere near the cavalry because all of the Steppe Bows. And they're now, the Steppe Bows are gonna go back a bit, and then they're probably just gonna target the Noble Germanic Horsemen again. I mean, this must be so frustrating for the Burgundian player when he has to deal with these Steppe Bows, but he doesn't want to waste his volleys as well. Because they are in loose formation, right? So they're going to take massive damage. Well, not from this side, I suppose. And from this range, because from this range, they are just going to take a lot of damage. So if they wanted to waste arrows, should have gone much further from these Germanic archers, kind of like at max range, I suppose, and then in loose formation. So I guess now they're targeting the Germanic archers, but I think they should be targeting the pikes or something else, really. But yeah, looks like now they're gonna target the pikes here, and the steppe tribes people trying to go in, but I do not like the way the steppe bows were used right now. Not at all. I mean, not right now, but the way they were used in total. I mean, throughout this game so far. Steppe tribes people charging head on into Germanic pikes, not gonna go well. This engagement's starting, and it should theoretically go well for the Burgundians because their support is a bit quicker, and they've got an extra cav unit coming in, and that extra cav unit could destroy all these units. Looks like they're going in, and they're gonna charge these steppe tribes people, and they actually still gonna make it into the ores. So that one charge, devastating. It hit 2 units, but seems like it mostly hit these steppe tribes people, so they served as a meat shield for the ores. I mean, it's still not great for the Huns, of course, but it's actually not bad at all, because, but I mean, this unit is just holding up all these units down, tying them down so that these Lancers can go down for the Huns, because they're engaging Axemen. As you can see, Axemen destroying them. More engagements happening over here. Looks like that one sword unit just got routed, steppe tribes people, by noble Germanic horsemen. Pikes here not able to do too much, but this engagement over here, I think it's gonna go really well for the Burgundians. Have to be careful though, because these Burgundians are coming in, the Axemen, and these cavalry units for the Huns. Ooh, they're gonna start dropping. The Huns here making some mistakes with their cavalry, not pulling them out too quickly, and these Axemen getting some insane charges off into those ores. Just look at these ores dropping to the Burgundian Axemen. It's a lot of damage. Even more Burgundian Axemen coming in here. The steppe warlord is gonna start feeling the pain right now, it seems.
The enemy have rallied their units.
More Burgundian Axemen coming in against these ores over here should do significant damage. But now I feel like these Barbed Lancers may actually have to pull out of this engagement, and should go for more charges. Pikes actually charging into these archers, not in formation. You can see the elite Hunnic Lancers here getting chopped down by the Burgundian Axemen. More cavalry units coming in for the Burgundians. This charge should do some damage for the Hun General, and now the Hun General is dead, so this should theoretically be game. Very quick one though. It looks like the Huns again are not gonna have a good time against the Burgundians. Just look at these axes here, just mopping up those war warriors. Yeah, war warriors not happy to be fighting, to be getting charged by Burgundian Axemen, as you can see. But that is game. Let's look at statistics. War warriors doing quite poorly here compared to the Axemen. Just look at how much more effective the Axemen were overall. And look at the cavalry of the Burgundians. Not doing too great, but neither did the cav of the Huns. But it's mostly cav on cav, so I guess you could say the Burgundian one didn't do bad at all. Though one of the Lancers did not do great because, yeah, it killed in terms of cost efficiency at least. Because, yeah, it got a charge into tribes people. Kind of devastated that unit completely, and it still killed a few of the ores. But then it just died after that quite quickly. But what it did achieve, though, is it allowed the Burgundians to still mop up the cav on that side without there being infantry interference from the Huns. So that was actually probably the best move of the game, maybe, for me anyway. But this means that it's now tied 2-2. The next game is going to be the tiebreaker. I shall see you there. This is the 5th game and final game, that is, as well, of the series of this semifinal. We have Orgetorix playing as the Eastern Romans and BxBaracus as the Alans. We started with Alans in the first game. Looks like we're going to end with Alans in the last game as well. But we'll see though if the Allens will pull this one off, because they did in the first game. Maybe they'll do in the last game as well. Time for slow motion, and let's go over the build of the Allens. Up front, 3 Germanic archers, followed up by 2 Germanic pikes. Then in terms of the cavalry, 3 noble Lani cav, make that 4, 5, 6 noble Lani cav, with seems to be a Sarmatian cataphract. Then we have gold 3 Alani general with brace. On the left flank, 3 Sarmatian warband. On the right, I guess you could say, well, kind of like center right, 3 Sarmatian warband. Now for the Eastern Romans, we have, where's the general? Where is the general? All right, here it is, Magister Militum with brace. Then we see on the right flank 3 Equites Promodi. On the left flank 3 Equites Promodi. And in the center 1 Tagmata cavalry. So that is 7 melee cavalry units, 8 including the general for both players, I believe. Now for the Romans, we have an interesting unit, a Haetareia guard all the way in the back. Aside from that, we have 4 Eastern Armored Legio. These guys are pretty decent units, but as you can see, Roman charge bonus not too great. Unless it's the Haetareia, of course. Look at that charge bonus and their attack and damage. Okay, maybe not Huskar-like, but definitely they are. They have extra health, so they are a bit tankier than the Huskars, I suppose you could say. And we do have 3 Limitane border guards. Now, we do not normally see Eastern Romans, but this unit is not bad at all. It can take a lot of missile fire, and it's quite cheap, and it's pretty good against cavalry. Like, look at this. Look at the stats of this. That armor, it's heavy. Pretty good against cavalry, of course, because it's a spear unit. It's got bonus versus cav, and can take a lot of missile firepower, and it's got 53 armor. Okay, health is pretty low, but the unit is pretty cheap, so give it a break, I suppose. But yeah, let's see how this one actually ends up going. Because the 6 Sarmatian warband, I mean, overall, I guess I like the infantry contingent more for, well, definitely like the infantry contingent more for the Allens. And, oh, did I forget to mention the 4 Funditores? Peculiar choice. Well, actually very interesting, but they are still quite cheap. Germanic archers, though, I don't know why they're not kiting. They're just waiting for the Funditores to get in range for some reason, when they could literally be kiting. So now the Funditores come in range, and they should be dealing a lot of damage to the Germanic archers, as they are not pulling back for whatever reason. Precision shot activated on the Funditores. Looks like now they're going to start throwing, and I guess they're throwing to these Germanic archers and should start doing damage to them very quickly. And wow, look at these Germanic archers drop. So indeed, you do not want to keep firing with the Germanic archers into Funditores and not kite, that is. You definitely want to kite. And it's not what's happening here, so this engagement, very good for the Eastern Romans. And this is also another good move, setting up the Limitane border guards. Because this means these Germanic archers will pull back, and in pulling back, they're going to take massive damage from these slingers, as you can clearly see here. But, I mean, perhaps it's actually a bad move, because up until now, the Allens did not decide to move back their archers, so I guess it's giving them ideas now, because border guards are trying to get into them. But this is a really bad engagement for the Allens, the skirmish one. Very, very bad indeed. Limitane border guards coming up again in the center. I wonder if they're actually going to charge into the Germanic pikes. These archers just taking so much damage from these Funditores. And now I guess this unit is going to get focused. Or is it? I wonder. Definitely it should get shot at. And as you can see, these Germanic archers are not doing too much. Though I believe the Limitane border guards can get charged, or the Sarmatian warband can go into these guys. I could definitely see it possible, this Nobilani Cav smashing into the Limitane border guard and just pulling out immediately. That would not be a bad move at all. Considering that these units are so far behind, there's no real support. So I definitely think the charges with the cavalry could happen for sure here. And that would be very effective for the islands, at least in my opinion. Like, just charge in with the Nobilani cavalry, pull out, and then follow up with Sarmatian Warband, and it should be good for you. Indeed. I mean, if the Limitane border guards stay in the fight against the Sarmatian Warband, we're gonna get a good exchange. If they don't, well, if they pull out from your Sarmatian Warband, you can just follow up with cavalry and keep chasing them and forcing them to turn around and kill them with Sarmatian Warband. So I definitely do not see why the cavalry is not charging this. I mean, it's very obvious. Cavalry is over here, so far off the battlefield. There is some Eastern Armor Legio here, but they're not in Pila range. I mean, if the islands are very quick with the cav charge, like, I could definitely see it working, but I just do not see why it's not happening right now at all. Like, just playing too safe, I suppose, in my opinion at least. Like, I'm going to say this again, because if this was me, like, I would definitely be charging these Limitane border guards. But who knows, maybe I'm missing the point here. But I definitely think these guys could get charged, and you could pull out without many losses. These spear units charging in from the head on, so I do wonder if this is a good idea. As you can see, they're dropping fairly quickly to these Germanic pikes, and they've taken a lot of damage to these Funditoris. These Germanic pikes being so cost effective right now against the Limitane border guards, considering how few of them there are. Some of them are actually starting to get out their swords, so this is not good. Because the Limitane border guards are going to do much better in that scenario. And the Germanic pikes probably will still end up losing to these border guards, but, and you know, this allows the Germanic pikes to actually do some damage. Because otherwise they maybe would have died. Looks like Flaming Shot onto the Equitus Promoti is going to do some damage, but I don't like the way the Germanic archers were used. I don't like the way the Alani Cav was used, and I do not like this attack either. Okay, it looks like they actually wasted their darts on the Germanic pikes and did some friendly fire. So now this charge is actually very good, and they were unable to brace. So as long as the Scav unit pulls out right now, it looks like it is going to pull out. So very well done by the Alans here. Might still get caught. Oh, he does get caught here. This is not good. And he loses a lot of men. Ooh, that makes it not worth it. That's charge. And this charge though is gonna be massive. Sarmatian Warbands quite poor against charges. You can see that because of their quite low, well, not really great health. Only like 90 something. And this Alani general coming in here, I do not agree with this either. He has not even used brace yet though, so that is massive. Now the Eastern Romans coming in, and here comes the Haterea Guard. Once this Haterea Guard comes into the fray here, also with rapid advance, it's going to start slaughtering all these Sarmatian Warband. So the charge happens, and as it connects, getting an insane amount of kills. Just an insane amount of kills. Here, 30 on the charge. This Equitus Promoti is obviously going to lose to the Nobilani Cav. I mean, Eastern Romans don't have great cavalry. Germanic pikes here doing very well in stopping this Equitus Promoti, so that's good for the Alans, but these two Nobilani Cav are gonna have to stay here and kill those Equitus Promoti. It looks like they might be able to. These guys stopped the charge, it seems, and now the Equitus Promoti move into charge. It's a very, very cool idea here by the Alans. Not by the Alans, but by the Eastern Romans. But ooh, another charge into the Sarmatian Warband, and just look at this blob. What are all these cavalry units here doing for the Alans against, like, in combat against infantry units? This is not very good for the Alans at all. And the Equitus Promoti is going to lose to Nobilani Cav, but not with the Limitane border guard support. The center is going to just completely crumble for the Alans too here. Again, not quite sure what's happening over here. This rear charge is going to do significant damage, but now this unit is just going to die. and one general is dead.
Shameful display.
I imagine it is the general of the Alans. Yep, looks like it's dead. It actually dies pretty quickly though. Like 30 men left. Or is he dead? Yeah, the general is dead. Look at these Sarmatian cataphracts. These units routing very quickly right now. Could be a chain route starting for the Alans. As you can see here, these Hytereas, as I was telling you, they are extremely good in melee. So the Sarmatian warband just got completely stomped here.
And are fleeing.
And as you can see now, they're routing off the field. This should be game in favor of the Eastern Romans. That general kill was huge, and I think even without it, still would have gone very well for the Eastern Romans. I mean, so many cavalry units were kind of stationary for the Alans, which I was like, okay. And then charging weirdly through the backs of his own men. I was not quite sure about that with the cavalry. Like, that's not a particularly effective move. Brace being used by the Romans here. Not actually sure if Brace was used
For their lives.
by the Alans. I don't remember. It looks like steady is being used, but at this point it does not really seem to matter. And yeah, it seems that Orgetorix has managed to come back from a 2-1 deficit after being up 1-0, and he has managed to win the semifinal. Very, very well done. And this game in particular, as you can see, is just very, very one-sided. He has almost 1,000 men left. This is... And look at the Funditores. Definitely cost-effective. Even the border guards killing a lot of cav. Hatereas as well. Just overall, very good performance from the Roman army. But going quite poorly for the Alans here. As you can see, Sarmatians not doing great overall. And the Nobilani Cav not doing so great either. But yeah, that is the game and match. So hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to see more, don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. Share the video, and I'll see you next time.